Okay, so I know y'all have probably already read the title or seen the thumbnail, so you know my answer to this question, but I'm still gonna ask anyways. Who do you think is the music industry's favorite artist? So if you answered anything other than Ty Dolla Sign, I'm not gonna be rude and say you're wrong, but let me tell you why I think I'm right. For those that aren't familiar with him, Ty Dolla Sign is an American singer, songwriter, and producer from Los Angeles, California, who started getting large-scale notoriety after dropping his 2013 hit Paranoid, and followed that up with an even bigger 2014 smash hit, Or Not, that featured Wiz Khalifa and The Weeknd. Or Not was a massive hit that really pushed Ty Dolla Sign from the background of the music industry to the forefront. Prior to those hits, Ty Dolla Sign had already begun establishing himself as one of the music industry's favorites through writing, producing, and lending his vocals to artists such as 50 Cent, YG, and Young Jeezy. However, after dropping Or Not, his stock in the music industry immediately shot up and he became a hot commodity. He essentially became your favorite artist's favorite artist. Since then, Ty has gone on to be featured in many different genres by many of your favorite artists such as Drake, Kanye West, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, H.E.R, Ariana Grande, Nicki Minaj, Charlie XCX, the list literally goes on and on. And this is because all of these artists realize that Ty's appearance on a song instantly elevates it to a new level. I think this is because of three things. One, Ty Dolla Sign has a very unique voice and ear-catching runs such as his famous Ooh Yeah that spices up any song that he appears on.
Ooh yeah, ooh yeah, oh, ooh yeah. Put your phone down, you're gonna need to have.
Two, Ty Dolla Sign is an eclectic musician who can play the bass guitar, the regular guitar, keys, the MPC, and because of this, he's very valuable to have in any studio session because he's instantly going to come up with new melodies that an artist can latch onto. And three, Ty seems to genuinely enjoy making and being around music, which isn't too surprising when you consider the fact that his dad was a part of the funk group Lakeslide that made this song.
Come along and ride on a fantastic voyage.
So while Ty is primarily known for his amazing features, I want to give Ty his flowers today and make a West Coast inspired bouncy LA type of R&B beat that Ty Dolla Sign could go crazy on his ironically named album featuring Ty Dolla Sign. So if you're interested in seeing how I do that, keep watching, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. My name is OG Chizzy Beats, and let's go ahead and get into the cookup. So the first thing I did was set my beat cam to 100, and then I went ahead and found an electric piano I liked that's called EP10 Piano that's found in the Contact library. Then I went ahead and built the first 4 bars of my percussion that sounds like this. And for my last 4 bars, I took that same progression and I added some bass notes and some high end notes, and this is what it sounds like. So for my effects, I just added a reverb, a limiter to make it louder, and a parametric EQ to cut out some of the low end frequencies. So altogether, this is what I have. So once I had my progression, I wanted to start adding some texture to this beat. So I found this pad called Banana and started to plug in some notes that complemented the chords, and this is what it sounds like. So to give that pad the texture that I was looking for, I added a fruity phaser to it and I left it at the default, and that is how I got that sound. So I wanted to keep on adding texture to this beat, so I went into the aperture bank by 5 and XY, and I found this sound that I thought really complemented the beat, and this is what it sounds like. Oftentimes you'll hear little textures like this in Ty's beats and it really adds that unique sound that he has. I love the sound because you hear a lot of these like low frequencies and things moving from ear to ear in Ty Dolla Sign's beat, so I thought it was really critical to bring this in. And to fill in the low end frequencies of this beat, I went ahead and found a respace and came up with this progression that sounds like this. Altogether, this is what the basis of the beat was sounding like. So I loved how full and lush that sounded, and I knew it was time for me to start adding some ear candy and some other melodies to fill this out. So what I did is I decided to use a lead. A lead is very common in almost all R&B beats in the West Coast and even hip hop beats. So I went into expand and I found this lead called Square PMW lead, and I came up with this melody that I only play in the second half of the 8 bars. And this is what it sounds like. I love how that sounded, so I added a few effects such as flangus, a parametric EQ to cut out some of the high end frequency, a fruity reverb really to fill out the space, and a fruity delay to give it a little bit of an extra bounce to it. Once I had that, I wanted to add some ear candy, so I went back into expand and I combined 2 bells together to make this sound. And I came up with this little thing that I call a fall that just really transitions from the first half of the chords into the second half, and this is what it sounds like. So the effects I added here was a fruity reverb to give it some space, and Valhalla Massive on the default setting to give it some texture and some more space. So the next thing I wanted to do was add a vocal chop. A lot of Ty Dolla Sign's have vocals, his own vocals, which are beautiful, and different vocals that sound like really deep, low, and add texture to it. So I found 2 vocal chops that I liked, I reversed them and added them together, and this is what I came up with. So I absolutely loved how that sounded, and to get that effect on it, what I did is I added Cymatic's Origin, which is a downsampler, and I turned it down to about 5,000 hertz, turned down everything else, and then I added a fruity reverb just to give it some spacing, and then I added a fruity compressor to make sure nothing was popping out too much in the vocals. Once I had that, I knew I was almost done with the melodies. I just needed to tweak a few things and add a signature synth bass. So I went into analog and I found this bass called Cardigan, and this is what it sounds like. And I came up with this bouncy progression that sits very nicely on top of the melody and the respace, and this is what it sounds like. So I loved how that sounded, and the last few things that I added melody wise were these few accents that add some texture. And I used the same chord progression from before to sprinkle in some strings that I used throughout the beat. So all together, this is what the melody sounds like. So I absolutely adored how that melody sounded, and I knew it gave enough space for Ty to go crazy on it. So for the drums, I wanted to keep it pretty simple, and this is the drum pattern that I came up with. So let's go through this element by element. The first thing I added was a kick drum that sounded like this. Then I added a clap. And with West Coast beats, it's very important to note that your clap is not going to be on the 3 like most other beats. It's going to be on the 2 and the 4. Then I came up with this hi-hat pattern. Then I used this open hat. Then I added this woodblock perk that sounds like this. Then I added another woodblock perk that sounds like this. Then I added this snare drum. And of course, I had to add a cowbell that sounds like this. And the final thing I added to this beat was a stomp. So in the West Coast, there's this stomping noise. I don't know where it came from. It honestly sounds like somebody banging on some garbage cans, but it sounds really good and it's a great way to transition. And this is what it sounds like. So all together, this is what I have for Ty Dolla Sign. So that is the beat. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Shout out to Ty Dolla Sign, one of the GOATs in our music industry, and we always need to make sure that we're giving people their flowers while they're here. So if you guys like this in this format, go ahead, hit the like button, leave a comment, let me know what you guys want to see in the next video, and I will see you guys in the next video.